We got a pretty exciting show for you guys today. We're testing out Yeswelder's newest welder that's coming out. It's not even available for sale. It's going to be available August 27, 2024. Hang in there.
Impressive. I wouldn't hesitate. I'd weld pipe for that thing if I had.
All right, welcome back to Fabbin Adventures, guys. Today we have Yeswelder's DP200, and it is a multi-process welder. Does arc welding, does lift TIG, and does MIG, and it has pulse and dual pulse. And we're going to try and test all of that. I have a friend of mine coming over today that's a professional welder, and he's going to test out the stick part of it because I'm not really awesome at stick welding. He's going to test it out. We're going to run it through the paces. We're going to do some MIG welding. We're going to put the sleeve in there to do some aluminum MIG welding. We're going to try out the pulse, and this is going to be a super thorough video. It might run a bit long, but be patient because we're going to go right through this machine, tell you our thoughts, and go from there. So let's rip this open and have a look. All right, we got her all unwrapped here. Welder looks awesome. It's similar size to my Magnum, maybe a little bit smaller. Really nice looking finish on it and everything. Very similar to the Cut 65 plasma cutter back there. What can you say? It looks nice. It's brand new. It should look nice. It has a nice long power lead. Looks to be probably about 8 feet. It reaches my plug back there. Comes with your Euro style stinger. I'm not sure, I've never ran a welder with this type of stinger. Let's see how long this is. I would say it's probably about an 8-foot lead. Fairly heavy. It feels nice and heavy. It actually feels maybe heavier than my Magnum back there. It comes with your wheels for your different wires. This probably has a specific aluminum wheel here, and then another one maybe for stainless wire, maybe one for regular steel wire, or different diameters of wire. Comes with the gas line. Hopefully it's compatible with my regulators back there. Let's have a look at the ground wire and ground clamp. Ground wire seems nice, fairly heavy. Clamp seems decent. It's still kind of light duty, but what do you expect? For the price of these, you just got to compromise on some stuff. You're not going to get a super heavy duty 300 amp clamp sort of thing. Obviously this welder is 200 amps, so I'm sure it'll be fine. It's very similar to their other clamps that they've put in all their other stuff. I'd say about an 8-foot ground. Comes with your arc welding clamp, gun, whatever you want to call it. Good spring pressure on there, should hang on to it good. Cable size looks decent. I mean, for a 200 amp welder, not going to need a huge thing. It also comes with 4 tips for your stinger. Let's have a look. And this getting old sucks because I can't see these little numbers even with glasses on. So let's see what we got here. We've got one that says AL12, and it looks like it's an 045 tip for aluminum. Let's have a look at this one. This says AL 0.9, so it's an 035 tip for aluminum. What do we got here? It says 0.9 or 0.035, so this will be your 035 tip for steel. And this is 0.8 or a 0.030 tip for steel. So no tip for 023. I was kind of hoping, because I've got some 023 wire and I wanted to try welding some steel, some thin steel. I've got some 22 gauge here. I have a project this winter coming up. I got a bunch of body work to do on the square body, so we're going to be welding some thin sheet metal, and the 023 wire is the way to go with that sort of stuff. So I wanted to test that out. I'm going to check some of my other tips that I have here, see if they're compatible and in 023, and then we'll try some 023 wire through this machine and weld some thin metal. Other than that, it comes with a graphene liner for your MIG stinger, which is really cool because you replace your steel coiled liner that's in here, which we're going to do later, which is set up for steel welding, metal welding, and you replace it with this graphene liner here. And this is so you can run aluminum wire through your stinger here with less resistance, so the aluminum doesn't kink up and bind up in your gun assembly here, and hopefully you'll be able to bend your stinger, you know, a little bit more to get into places to weld. You can't do that. You can run aluminum wire through this steel liner, but you won't be able to flex your stinger very much, and it'll bind up and it'll stick. Ask me how I know. I tried it here with my old Magnum welder back there. And you can weld aluminum, but you have to keep your stinger as straight as possible. Otherwise, the aluminum just won't go through. So that's a big bonus that they give you this. That's pretty cool. Let's clean this up here. Let's fire this up and go through some of the settings. And you're learning with me because I don't know nothing about this machine. I've got a manual. I read through the manual briefly, so I know some of the perks and whatnot that this machine has. So let's go through it. So what I don't see here is a TIG gun. I have a TIG gun here, a lift TIG gun. I'm not sure if it's going to be compatible with this machine. I'll check it out and whatnot. Personally, I don't care for lift TIG. I've got my own TIG back there that's more suited for doing aluminum and finer metal and whatnot with that. You know, you got the pedal and all that stuff. Lift TIG is kind of a pain in the butt. You got to touch and then lift off to start the arc and whatnot. And it's doable. It's just not as awesome as pedal start. All right, we got a nice close-up look of the Yeswelder here. Got a nice 7-inch screen. I took the screen protector off. Let's turn it on. There we go. It's supposed to be on-demand fan. She's running a little high right now. There we go. Okay, let's go through some of the stats here. You've got a 7-inch LCD screen. You have the wire speed wheel here, a home button, control knob they call it, a help button, we'll check into that, and then your voltage control knob. Obviously, you turn this one here and that's going to control your wire speed. You control this one here, that's going to control your voltage. It's synergic. You'll just enter what steel you're welding, what type of gas, what wire size you're using, how thickness the steel is, what type of gun trigger setup you want, and it should adjust your wire speed and your volts if it's anything like my other welder. Got the Euro Touch deal here. Down here you have for the spool gun. Down here you have a 5-pin for a pedal. So that's interesting that it has a 5-pin. So your pedal is probably not just on and off the pedal. It probably has power control, voltage increase and whatnot control on the pedal. So that's pretty cool. I'd be interested to get the pedal for this and a TIG gun to see basically if that's how that works. Okay, you turn this wheel and it's going to go through your different parameters. So let's start at the top. You press the button, enter steel, and it's going to show you settings for steel, stainless, aluminum 4043 and aluminum 5356. So that's pretty cool. And inside of those, let's just select aluminum. Right, so then it's going to tell you basically it's going to limit your selections. So argon you want with aluminum. Typically, it's already selected argon, right? These other selections are for different stuff, like 98% argon, 2% CO2, that's for stainless steel. You got HE trimix, all kinds of nice options in this. What I don't see is our typical 25 mix, our 75-25. They have 80-20, so that's what we're going to have to select for steel. But let's carry on with argon. This here is still the aluminum settings. So they give you an 024. Let's see if they'll let us select it. Nope. They're only letting us select 035 and 045 in aluminum, so that's fine. Let's move over to thickness of aluminum. So they're going to let us go down to 18 gauge on aluminum. And as thick as a quarter with aluminum. So that's cool. We'll go down to 1/8 because that's what we have. And then you have your 2T, 4T, 2T, 4T. 2T obviously is one press of the, you press the trigger, you weld. When you're done welding, you let off. 4T, you press it, it starts welding, and it doesn't shut off till you press it again. Spot welding, what I was reading in the manual, and I think you can set the parameters up, you press the button, it'll ramp up power, do the spot for a specific amount of time, and it'll ramp down power and shut off, and then it resets when you go to do the next spot. That's cool. I want to try that out. And the S4T, I haven't seen anything like that in the manual, so we're waiting on a revised manual yet. The manual I have doesn't tell you how to set up the pulse or why you want pulse or anything, so that's going to be a learning curve. So let's just keep this on 2T. Your next one over is memory. So if you are welding a specific thickness of aluminum or whatever, uphand, downhand, upside down, you can set that stuff, the voltage and the inches per minute in the memory, so you don't have to reprogram. You can just go into memory. Let's check it out, see if it shows anything. No, so we don't have anything in, oh, there we go. So you have 1 to 50 memories. I'm guessing you can select whichever. It'd be nice if you could name them. I don't know if you can name them or if you just have to have like a cheat sheet. Not sure how you, well, let's just play here. Okay. Not quite sure how we do the memory function, but we will play with that. MIG gun. So you get your MIG gun or your spool gun settings in there. We'll select MIG gun because we don't got a spool. Gas check here. So this should be, yeah, it kicks the solenoid open. It's telling you the recommended flow of 10 to 15 liters a minute. And then when you're done, you can click that again and it'll shut off. So that's how we can set up our gas flow on our regulator at the bottle. Let's go to the next one. Pulse off. What do we have options? We have single pulse and dual pulse. Now I'm not really sure what dual pulse is, but we're going to play with it. I might do some research on the internet and see if I can learn anything about dual pulse. I know single pulse because I've got that on my TIG. And hopefully you can adjust parameters. Let's go in there just for kicks. No, doesn't look like it gives you how often or how hard your pulse is. We'll have to learn on that. So let's turn the pulse back off. And advanced. Okay, so there you have different settings, your pre-flow for your gas inductance, probably your welding amperage or whatever, burn back, post-flow. All that could be interesting for aluminum welding for sure. post flow. And then you hit the button to select that stuff. So if you wanted more pre-flow, more gas pre-flow, you must be able to turn that up somehow. Yeah. There we go. There you can increase your pre-flow. Remember, you're learning here with me. Your welding, yeah, changes your inches per minute. So that's fairly simple. Let's see if this is how you adjust this one. No, you still use this one. Burn back. Post flow gas, obviously you can turn that up and down. That's cool. So that looks like the settings that you get inductance. You can turn inductance up and down too. Oh, that's pretty cool. Okay, let's move on. And in the help center, let's hit that. So it's just, it looks like, oh, here. So here's how it tells you how to set up for what you're welding. Spool gun. So we have it on MIG gun, so it's telling you right now how your MIG gun is hooked in here, your power lead goes into there, and your ground goes into negative. Let's go back up here, set this up for steel. (80-20), we don't have 70-25 option or 75-25 option, we only have 80-20, so we're going to select that. We're going to go down to 035 because that's what I have. And that's all fine. Spool gun, we're going to switch him back to MIG torch. Gas check. Let's turn the gas on and do that. And there's flowing gas right now, so we can turn our thing down to about there, and then we're done checking our gas flow. That's handy. Looks well made. Already has a wheel in there set up for 035. 035, 030. So 035 on this roller, 030 on that roller. And it's set up for the inside groove, which is 030. I have 030 wire, but we're gonna run 035. So we just rotate it so it's like that. Here's a pretty cool feature, and you get different wheels, obviously, come with your welder, but they have little holders there for your wheels. So if you have some wheels that you're commonly using, like the aluminum maybe, or you're wanting a U style or a V style wheel in there, this is K030, 035 it comes with. This is a V030 025. I have some 025 wire. And this is a U for your aluminum wire, 035 045. Pretty cool. It has a little holster for your wheels and some little holes for some tips, I guess. I would like to see a bigger thing for tips instead of just open like that. I'd like to see a sealed box to put your tips and stuff in. All right, so inside the machine we look and we have a couple of ports here. One, I believe, yeah, USB-C. Oh, there's two USB-C ports in here. I'm not really sure what that's about. I know one of them is for upgrading the machine, or doing updates, I mean, to the machine. And you get a USB-C, not card, but a stick or whatever. You put the update onto the stick and you plug the stick into there and update the machine. And I have an update for this machine to do. So I'll be doing that, and then we'll try some welding. But let's put our 035 wire All right, we're ready to feed some wire through the gun. And let's see if it does what my other welder does. I can just press the trigger on my other welder and it'll start feeding slowly. And then it'll pick up speed when it realizes it's not welding. And it'll send the wire through. And I always take these tips out just so you don't get no bindage. I'm going to turn, well, let's just try it. It's feeding it. So it doesn't do that. So my other welder, I would just hit the button and it would feed slowly like that, and then it would, woo, it would pick up speed and it would send the wire through. This one's not doing it. I wonder if there's a different setting to feed the wire quicker. Okay, so all I could find, what I ended up doing was I just increased wire speed to 512, and it's picked up the speed quite a bit more, but it's still not fast like my Magnum is. And it looks like I have to keep on feeding it. Not a big deal, but here it comes. Not a big deal, but I like that feature on my other welder where I can just press the button and it realizes that I'm not welding, and it picks up the speed. Well, I guess we're basically ready for some basic welding. Let's try it out. 3/8 plate.
Okay. It seemed to burn this 3/8. This 532 rod on this 3/8 plate, not bad. It just needs a little bit of, you gotta kind of float along the top. You gotta touch it once, that's not float. It doesn't have quite enough jam for this.
And it's 532 rod and 3/8 plate. And we cranked up the hot start and the, what was the other one?
The arc.
The arc force. Both of them are maxed.
Yeah, and this is a 532 7018. I'll just do a little pass here like these ones. And you'll see, as long as I float along the top, well, it's just nice. If I'm welding along like this, it's okay. But if I let the rod touch the plate much, it'll snuff out just a little bit on me. So, for a shop welder in your garage, this is probably plenty fine anyway. I'll just show you what it does here when I let it touch the plate. Oh, now it's making a wire me. Now it's doing fine. There, now I'm riding right along the steel as I should be.
Okay, well the plate's hot now too from a few passes, right?
Yeah, that's right. Huh? Yeah, it's welding just great.
That's a pretty long bead too, and it didn't hit the, it's got a 60% duty cycle, I think. probably not at max power though. It's probably only,
Yeah.
I'd have to look in the manual, but
If you can burn, I could have went a couple more inches, but if you burn a full rod,
yeah,
it cools down for a second as a break every time you change rods anyway. So
yeah.
let's have a little look at what this looks like.
Oh, that's pretty cool actually, hey?
I'm a little crooked, but
Yeah, well we're not judging that. That is pretty nice bead, hey?
yeah, there's nothing wrong with that at all. I'm pretty impressed with it.
Let me zoom in on that.
It's pretty impressive for a little shop welder like this.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got a 225 Lincoln, and this is actually burning better than my 225 Lincoln.
No kidding, eh?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, I'm impressed with it.
Yeah, and I don't know enough about arc welding to
Let's
say anything, right?
throw a little fillet weld on it here. Unless you have this plate destined for something else, huh?
Nope, that's what it's all for. Yeah.
I'm just going to tack this in here. I'm going to lay a fillet weld in it. So. Yeah, so I could use just a touch more heat in here, but I mean it's fusing nicely. It's doing great. I'm gonna have to get into marks over here because I'm a little bit warm getting towards the end of this as it heats up so much, you know?
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop here for a second. I'll jump to the end. That's generally what I do when I weld something like this. That way I don't have that crater at the corner.
Okay, yeah.
I'll do my tie in here instead. I was getting a bit hot when you're coming across and starting
Yeah.
to spatter.
Well, the plate is good and hot now.
Yeah, I mean, that did really well. It's gonna be a little hard to get the slag out of here probably. Tougher maybe.
And what causes that spatter, you said?
Well, when you get near the end, it's your arc flow. It happens with all welders actually as you start coming towards the end.
Yeah.
It's almost like magnetized idea. It starts to spit and sputter. You always want to weld from your corners in
Yeah.
anytime you're welding something. So a lot of times I'll jump across. Instead of signing off right here, where a lot of times you'll leave a little crater,
Yeah.
I'll sign off in the middle here. I'll show you that in a second.
I do that same thing with a MIG with thinner metal.
I wish I didn't have that spatter on there, but I mean the weld, well, it looks great. I think you can see there's no undercut, no non-fusion.
Pretty good, and that's 3/8 plate, half-inch
Half
plate
inch, yeah.
welded to the 3/8.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's pretty impressive.
Huh, that's cool.
But yeah, it's pretty darn good. I wouldn't hesitate to use that on anything.
Yeah, and if it can weld 3/8 or half-inch, it's gonna do 1/4 inch, or this is 3/8, but
That's
like
oh, it'll weld it.
quarter that, it'll weld that
And
just.
if you want, we could put a couple pieces of 1/4 together with a small gap and do a butt weld
Yeah,
and just see how much it wants to
penetration.
penetrate through.
Yeah.
If you want.
You want to do it right on the plate, or do you need it
no,
to
this is
hang
fine.
off?
I can just do it right here. I'll set this here and this here. Grab a couple pieces. Those are both
One's 3/16, I think.
1/3/16.
So 1/4 is this stuff here.
Pieces of 1/4.
Yeah. So we're
Normally, a guy would grind that little bit of slag out of there.
yeah, because that would cause porosity, right?
Yeah.
You gonna run around the same voltage, or do we not want
Yeah, I think so. I think everything's going to be okay because it could use a touch more heat
to? Okay.
anyway. So let's give it a go right where it's at.
This is max.
I'm going to try to put a nice weld without burning right through and make a big hole.
Right.
I'm
Okay.
hoping to get full penetration
Okay.
through 1/4 inch plate with no bevel. So
Okay.
I mean that'll be fantastic.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you hear it going right through? That sounded pretty good. Pull it down, let it look at this side here.
It looks nice, eh?
I think so, yeah. The heat was nice, no spatter. Look how hot she got. I mean, it's...
And that was wide open. That was 180 amps is what, max is what she'll put into this.
And you don't need that much probably even. But I like to burn a little bit hotter anyway than some people do.
Hot, huh?
Yeah, it's hot. It looks great. Now the moment of truth. Well, she's not quite all the way through, but that's to be expected with no bevel on it.
Right. Yeah, you only had like an 1/8 of an inch gap there or so.
That's right, yeah. So with 532, if you go much bigger than that, you'll blow a hole through it, and then you're fighting trying to fill up the weld all the time. Fill up the hole.
Yeah, so we probably should have beveled it a smidge and used a smaller rod then
Yeah, but this was just, I wanted to test it.
to see what she would do, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it looks great. Normally you'd put a little, run a zip cut on there, put another pass on this side anyway, so you can see. If I'd have slowed down, I might have got full penetration all the way just the way it was, but maybe I sped a little too fast coming through here.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty happy with it. Like it's pretty nice. No excessive spatter or anything. And clearly if I would have put a bevel on there, she'd have blown right through there, no problem.
Yeah, that's
Which
actually,
you normally do anyway.
that's another thing I never even thought is there's not really any spatter. When you watch me weld with an arc welder, there's spatter everywhere.
No, this is pretty, I'm happy with this thing. It's pretty awesome actually.
Huh, that's
We
cool.
should try a little 60-10.
And turn that down.
Yeah. Side of a 120
120 amps.
going up and it's going to be
1/8 inch rod. And on our plate of 3/8 and ½ inch.
There's already a 532 point weld in there. Let's see how she does on an uphand here. I'm actually still a little bit warm. I'm gonna have to step it quite a bit here. I'm gonna lose my puddle. Not sure if you can see that or not, but I have to really make some big steps.
Yeah.
Because the puddle's too hot. I'm just going to stop there, turn it down some. It's doing really big, I'm really surprised.
So,
Turn it down to another
5 amps only, hey?
115 now. Just have a little look at that's the current look like. Yeah, I'm not going to see that or not, but that looks pretty nice actually, considering it was a little bit hot.
So now you just went down 5 amps and you're going to continue
Yeah,
up,
and I'll
see how it changes it. Okay.
Well, that started up really nice there. Yeah, that's doing better now.
Really, 5 amps is all that took, eh?
Can you see the difference, Ron?
Yeah, oh yeah.
I could still go down just a little bit more yet, but it's okay. Just have to be careful not to sit there too long or else my puddle will droop.
Yeah.
I'm in the Colorado here.
Cool.
Yeah, it's really doing a nice job. I'm gonna have to order me one of these. I ran on a rod to make it right to the top. Yeah, it's doing awesome. Pretty darn impressive. I wouldn't hesitate. I'd weld pipe with that thing if I had to.
If you had to, right?
Oh yeah, if it was in my garage and I had a little spool to build,
Right.
rather than spool my big cables out, I'd just grab that and weld it up.
Yeah, if you blew a welder or whatever, you could get on Amazon and have that thing in like 2 days and be welding or whatever, right?
You might not want a fat pipe for a week with it.
No, it probably wouldn't handle a week's worth of buzz and steady. The duty cycle would hold you back.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, that's pretty impressive. I mean, we burned complete 532 welding rod at max heat, max everything.
Yeah.
And the weld looks. I mean, it's flat, eh?
Yeah.
Pretty great.
Huh. Good. That's cool. It's good to know. To change to your MIG gun, you would hit the home button. And then you spin the center dial to the MIG mag. Press the center dial again. And it'll come in. There you go.
Hold on.
So I've got the wire speed maxed right now when I was feeding wire into it. So
Okay, yeah, I see you're at 500.
yeah, so
Typically, this is probably going to be around 190 or 200, I'm thinking, right?
I always, like my other welder, I always just use the Synergy version. I just put in the steel, the gas,
Okay, well,
all
let's
that
try
stuff.
I'm not sure how to work that.
So it's in steel right now. See the top corners highlighted. So we're going to burn steel. So you turn your center dial to the right, and that would select your gas. They don't have 75-25 on here. They only have 80-20.
Okay, so that's the gas.
So that's close enough. The next one over, you'd spin the dial. That says your wire.
Yeah.
That's 035 is what we have in there, and then whatever steel thickness you want to burn with it.
Well, let's load some of this exhaust here.
That's stainless steel, so I was going to save the stainless wire for it. But we have thin, up 3/16 up to 1/4 inch or whatever.
Let's set her for, well, that's a little less than 1/8.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Set her for 1/8.
This would be 1/8 inch, yeah.
So I push the center button?
Center button, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I'm
Spin that back to 1/8.
1/8.
Yeah. Click on that. And then turn
come I
it
went
to the
to
right.
3/16
Oh,
something?
I don't know. Maybe
I must have fat fingered it.
you fat fingered it. Okay. Now spin her one more to the right and then put that on 2T, which is like your typical press the trigger, welds, let go of the trigger.
How do we adjust that one?
Yeah, just counterclockwise.
It just
Yeah, it's a little slow on the spin. There you go. So that should be set up. You press the trigger, it welds. You let off the trigger, it stops.
Fill it well here. Oh, that sounds nice. I like the tacks already.
Yeah?
Now you're supposed to push, go over a little drag here.
I usually drag.
Settings are perfect for everything, isn't it?
What'd you say? The settings are perfect?
Yeah, I wouldn't change anything.
So that's using the Synergy thing, and it's pretty well bang on, hey?
Yeah. See, timing was out a little bit in the middle there, but
Yeah.
man, that well's nice. Get a little wider if I want to. That's beautiful.
That's 1/8 inch,
Yeah. I mean,
which of course it's going to weld that, right?
yeah, for sure. But most stuff you're using with a MIG, for me, it is the thinner stuff.
Yeah, it's cool though that the Synergy is like bang on, hey?
Yeah, it's perfect. There's
Even
no
with the
spatter.
wrong gas, right? We're running 75-25 gas, but they got 80-20.
Yeah.
It's pretty close. I don't know,
Impressive. Look, the welds are just,
bang on.
yeah, there's no spatter, nothing. It just fires up perfect.
Yeah.
It's gotta sell mine, I think.
It's amazing, hey?
That's pretty good. Let's try her with a little bit thicker stuff and see what she does then.
Okay. So 3/8. All we have to do is change this guy.
Yeah, so that's kind of max of what they're saying.
Yeah. Everything else is still the same. Yeah. 488 inches. She's gonna push some wire to her.
Yeah, I'll just put a tack on each corner here first.
Yeah. Here, I'll just come around this side. Sound good, eh?
That's impressive. That's quite impressive. Then I'm downhill just a little bit. Up somehow. That's actually pulling uphill a little bit now, which is fine. We'll run a little on here and see what she does. Nothing wrong with that.
No, that looks good, hey?
Yeah, it's a little hard to see on this screen actually what we're actually doing, but that's a pretty good size fillet weld.
Once you watch this on a bigger screen, you'll be able to show it.
That's basically a 3/8 fillet with one pass.
Yeah, I'll zoom in here a little more. Try again.
Should we turn it sideways a little? You can see the size of the fillet.
Yeah, you could.
Your camera where it's at. Maybe do that. Maybe you'll see how big the fillet is. Oops.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty good, hey?
Yeah. I'm pretty impressed, Ron. I would give him a pretty good review if it was me. I'm having so much fun with weld this side.
Have at her.
What is that?
Yeah, that's nice, eh? I gotta put my darn glasses on just so I can see.
I don't know.
Oh yeah. Nice and smooth too, eh?
Yeah, it's absolutely great.
Next to no spatter. I mean, there's a little bit of spatter, but that's to be expected when you got her cranked up like that.
Yeah, well, you can't expect any more from any other machine. I don't know what more there is to expect.
Yeah, and this is max basically what it's supposed to be able to do is 3/8.
Yeah, and it does it perfect.
Yeah, my other little welder there is supposed to be a 200 amp too. It doesn't have a 3/8 setting. I've welded 3/8 with it, but not. It doesn't look that nice. I don't think.
I mean, that there. That's as good as you're going to do with anything.
I'm thinking this welder is going to take place of my other one.
Yeah.
The old girl there, she's getting tired.
Yeah, that's an awesome little machine. I'm quite surprised.
And it's new, eh? It's just coming out. It has got pulse meg and stuff on it too, which the manual that I've got doesn't have the pulse meg stuff in it yet. They're supposed to be adding that to the manual. So when this welder actually comes out onto market on the 27th, then the manual is going to be updated and have all that settings and whatnot.
Yeah, I'm pretty impressed with it.
Yeah. All right, so that concluded the arc welding part of it here, and I just want to say my buddy Dave there, he's been a professional welder, B-pressure welder for 30 years now, and he was super impressed with this machine, and hopefully the volume was up enough that you can hear what he was talking about when he was welding and whatnot, but yeah, he was super impressed with the welder. I mean, we burnt 532 rod at max power and whatnot on this, and it handled it just fine. We did turn up the arc force and the hot start for the big rod, for the 532 rod, and you can see when he does the uphand section of welding there, it's like nice start and away he's going. There's no having a hard time to get it started. And we burnt through all kinds of stuff like this 1/4-inch plate here. We didn't even V-groove it. We just held like a 1/8-inch gap, and it's got like full penetration right through. He was super impressed with the welder, and the reason why you don't see, I didn't go widescreen to show him welding, was he was just a little camera shy and he didn't want that. So I told him I would just focus on the welding, and just to keep his stress level down, if you want to call it that. So arc welding, that thing's awesome. According to Dave, that thing's awesome. So we're going to move on to changing the liner out on the gun. Oh, he also did some MIG welding with it, and we used the synergic settings, and they were perfect. Even though our gas isn't quite right, where I'm running 75-25 mix, and this machine only shows 80-20 mix, we ran that setting, and the settings were perfect. And we welded 1/4-inch, and I think we welded 3/8 with it. Here's the plate. We welded 3/8 to 3/8 with the MIG welder with the synergic settings, and perfect. The welds are perfect. He was super impressed. So now we're going to move on. We're going to put the graphene liner in here, and we're going to run some aluminum wire. I've got some 035 wire, I believe, and 5356 wire, and I got some aluminum already prepped up. So we're going to try doing some aluminum welding with it, and we're going to try the pulse and the dual pulse and see if I can figure it out. Like I said before, these machines aren't even available for sale yet, and their manual is not fully up to snuff. So there's no, the manual doesn't have anything about the dual pulse or the pulse on how to set it up, but I've played with that stuff before with my TIG. So I'm going to see if I can figure it out and show some decent aluminum welding for you guys. So give me a little bit here, and I'm going to put the liner in, and I'll get back to you. All right, got the graphene liner inside the stinger here. Pretty simple job, just follow the manual step by step. It walks you right through it. Real easy job. I put some 5356 035 aluminum wire in here now, and I'm running pretty low on argon, so hopefully I'm going to have enough argon to show the capabilities of this machine and the dual pulse. I don't really want to have to run back to town to get my bottle filled, but I will if I have to. Let's set her up for aluminum, see what it does. Okie dokie, we got some 035 5356 aluminum wire. So icon, turn this down to 5356. It's telling us to use 100% argon. It's already set it to it. Yep. .035 wire. Let's see what options we have. 035, 045. Doesn't give you an option for 030, so we're going to run with 035. That's what we got in. We're going to switch this to 1/8 inch. Going to use the synergic settings. Oops. Set her to 1/8 inch there. 2T. We should be good to go. No pulse on, just a standard weld. So let's see what she does here. All right, the last time I tried welding aluminum with a MIG stinger like this was with my other welder, and it did not like to be curved around. You had to have the stinger straight. So we're going to try it right off the get-go with it curved. See what happens. All right, not quite sure what was going on there, but I was trying to get this set up here, and it was burning super hot, and I couldn't quite figure out what it was. I looked on here, and it was at 045, and I tried to turn it back down to 035, and it wouldn't let me. I shut it off. I turned it back on. Now we're back to 035, wire, 100% argon, 5356 wire, 1/8 inch plate. This is the settings it says to use. Let's see what happens now. Still, that's hotter than I would think it needs to be. Let's go back a 1/2 volt and see. Now that's way too hot. Not enough wire. Bring that up to 385.5 volt down and see. That's better. Show you what I got here. Now you gotta realize I'm not a pro aluminum welder. I've done a fair bit of aluminum welding, but this is still coming across as too hot. Maybe not quite enough wire. Let's try this fillet again. Not enough wire. Too hot, not enough wire. Still too hot. Not enough wire. There, that's better. That's definitely better. And here, these settings over here are like the synergic settings, so not great, but when you turn up the wire speed and down the amps, it gets acceptable. All right, so just playing around with the settings, I mean, you can do some pretty nice aluminum welds, nice smooth looking aluminum welds on 1/8 inch. So here's on 1/4 inch plate. Pretty good looking bead. Again, the synergic settings are a bit hot. This was calling for minus 0.08. I took it to minus 0.13 max wire speed on 1/4 inch plate, and it welded pretty nice. It was a bit hot at first, but when you dial it back, the darn thing welds really good. It definitely can weld aluminum quite nicely using the MIG gun. I'm impressed with that. This 3/8, I don't know if there's any point in trying 3/8 as a fillet. Well, we can bump up the juice, but I'm guessing the wire is just going to burn back. So let's Well, let's go and try and see what it says for 3/8. Maybe we can't get 3/8 with our, oh yeah, see. So we're at max with our wire, with 035 wire. If we had 045 wire, we'd probably get a 3/8 option. Let's see. We'll ramp this up to 045 wire. And then we'll see if we get a 3/8 option. Yeah, we do. So I don't have no 045 wire, so I can't show you welding 3/8. But 1/4 inch here, I mean, that's awesome. That's a pretty darn nice wire-fed MIG weld for aluminum. I'd be happy with that any day. That's a nice weld. So welding is pretty awesome. I can't do the pulse either, because as soon as you go into pulse, it's asking for 045 wire, and again, I don't have 045 wire, so I really wish I could have tested the pulse out. I could try and set it and dial the settings back and use the pulse and see what happens. Let me see if I can figure that out. All right, well, I guess testing for aluminum is done here. That should basically conclude the video. I ran out of aluminum wire. The welding shop's closed now for the weekend. This video has to be out, has to be done. So if you stay tuned to the channel, we're gonna definitely keep trying this. I'll get myself some more aluminum, and we're gonna try and get the pulse figured out on this, and hopefully the new manual will come out and show you how to properly set up the pulse and whatnot. But as for welding aluminum with just the stinger, not the spool gun, awesome. It welds really good. Super happy with how it welds. And this is 1/4 inch. 1/4 inch takes a fair bit of juice to weld. So I'm definitely happy with its performance. I wish the Synergic settings were closer. It seems off. It seems running too hot, and not quite sure. Maybe it's something what I'm doing here, or because I'm low on gas, or what. Not sure. But overall, this welder is pretty awesome. And I haven't even done the update. There's an update for this, and I'll do that, and I'll show again. You stay tuned to my channel. Make sure you subscribe and like this video here, because I'll be definitely putting this welder through the pace. It's going in place of my other MIG welder. That one's going to come down. I'll probably give it away to somebody that needs a welder, and this one's going in place because it is pretty awesome. I really like it, and my buddy Dave really likes the welder too. He's actually considering buying one. So all said, pretty awesome welder. But stay tuned, because there's more playing to be done with this thing. It's awesome. I'm pretty happy with it. So if you guys are liking this sort of content, make sure you subscribe, share, like these videos. We'll see you guys on the next episode.